Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. For today's video, I'll be doing a deep dive into Lake Lanier, the infamous Lake Lanier. But before we deep dive into Lake Lanier, I want to let you guys know that my new album, The Blueprint, is dropping Friday. Without further ado, let's get into Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier is located in Georgia, the northern area. Lake Lanier wasn't always known as Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier was once a small village. It was called Oscarville. It was predominantly populated by African Americans, specifically around the early 1900s. If you do not know, around this time, lynching against African Americans became widespread across the nation. Around this time, there were no protections against African Americans. Now, I know a lot of you guys are asking, what do this have to do with Lake Lanier? Basically, the root of Lake Lanier starts with this problem. In 1912, an 18-year-old woman by the name of May Crow was sexually assaulted near Oscarville, which is Lake Lanier. Once the white media heard about this, they went into an uproar. They went into Oscarville, burnt churches, burnt down stores, burnt down houses, even lynched innocent African Americans. Around this time, they wanted to let the media know that whoever did this was a black man, which is not true. Ever since the case of May Crow has happened, there has been countless attacks against Oscarville. 40 years later, now the 1950s, is when the destruction of Oscarville began. In the early 1950s, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began investing in waterways across the United States. They began building Lake Sidney Lanier, which is next to Oscarville, which is also known as the Burford Dam. In April of 1954, a man by the name of Henry Shadburn sold his deed for $4,100 to buy Lake Lanier, or Oscarville. He basically bought the land of Oscarville to expand the project that the United States was doing by expanding the waterways. Mind you, when he bought the land, buildings, cars, churches, all types of landmarks were there when he bought it. 2 years later, or 1956, is when it was completely flooded. As I said before, cars, schools, churches, and houses were completely flooded under the water. Let's take a second to think about why all of this is connected to the paranormal activities that has been happening in Lake Lanier. As we all know, energy cannot be created nor broken. So a perfectly preserved city like Lake Lanier still has energy, and energy is able to travel through water. Everything that I'm saying wouldn't be a coincidence to why everything is happening in the waters of Lake Lanier. We have to understand that this was a running city. It had schools, it had churches, it had stores. Everybody had their own reason to be in that city. So when you take away someone's reason to be in a certain place, things become very difficult. The United States took their land without their approval, and the spirits that live along Lake Lanier are angry and mad that this happened. And all of this isn't a coincidence as to why the paranormal activities at Lake Lanier is happening. Let's consider the fact. The project at Lake Lanier was flat out wrong and should have never happened in the first place. Wanna know why? Because there's many different areas that they could have chose from to put those waterways, period. The fact that they chose a landmark that still had buildings, churches, a running city, it doesn't make sense to me. It was flat out wrong, and it shows why it is so important to not take away from people, especially a large demographic of people. Thank you for listening to my deep dive of Lake Lanier. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more future videos. Thank you for watching.